Good morning, Frylands Falcons, and welcome back to school. Today is Friday. That's right, it's Friday, March 4th, 2022. We're glad you're back with us for a day of learning. I hope you're ready for a fantastic Frylands Friday. I know I am. I know all my friends are as well. It's a great day to be a Falcon, boys and girls. All right, so I wanted to let you know, while Governor Inslee has announced that there's a statewide mask mandate that will be lifted, masks will continue to be required in our school district and must be worn at all times until further notice. So just a friendly reminder to remember to wear your mask properly over your nose and mouth while you're at school while we go through this process. Again, Governor Inslee is lifting the mask mandate, but right now in Monroe School District, we are still wearing our masks, so stay tuned for that information. Hey, just to let you know, our weather today looks about the same as yesterday, maybe a little less sprinkles, and trying to hopefully get a little more sunshine coming through. The highs will be about 50 today, so we'll look forward to that as it goes on. On our lunch menu today, what do we got? Ooh, teriyaki glazed chicken, brown rice, seasoned corn, and then there's also the muffin, yogurt, and bar fun lunch. So you can get a fun lunch or teriyaki glazed chicken today. Yum, thank you, Miss Claudia, for the awesome lunches that you provide for us. Boys and girls, we've been talking about our reading program. I hope you've been reading each night for about 20 or 30 minutes. Remember, you're trying to read, and if you can remember to then fill out one of these reading logs. Remember, if you can read 8 hours, that's 480 minutes, shows it down here, in the month of March, you can get this turned in, and it allows you to get, if you reach that reading goal of 8 hours of recreational reading, you'll earn either a ropes course, laser tag adventure, or a discounted summer camp voucher through High Trek Adventures. Should be a lot of fun. This is how much reading matters. Look at this. I'm gonna show you this to you. So reading just 20 minutes a day, it's amazing the difference in reading just 20 minutes a day. If you read 20 minutes a day, a child who reads 20 minutes a day is exposed to 1.8 million, that's a million, words per year, and they score better in their reading. Whereas a student that reads 5 minutes a day is exposed to only 282,000 words, and they score about at the 50th percentile, about the halfway mark. And if you don't read at all, or you read about 1 minute a day, you're only exposed in a whole year to 8,000 words, and you don't score very well in your reading. So what does that tell you? Reading practice makes you better. That's right. Practice doesn't make perfect, but practice makes better. So remember that. So read 20 minutes every day, even on the weekends. Do a little bit of reading every day, and that just helps you build your reading skills, your vocabulary, your fluency. That's kind of the speed of your reading. So let's read every day, boys and girls, and let's get better at it. Even me, when I read a book, there's words I don't sometimes know, or it's hard for me to read. That happens a lot. And so when we don't know that, we usually can read the words around it, and it helps us figure it out. Sometimes I even have to go Google it and go see what that word means, because I'm like, what is that word? So even adults, we have that. So we get better at our reading the more we read too. It's like everybody, okay? Practice makes better. So keep that in mind. Hey, you know, this month we've been talking about Women's History Month, and I want to share 2 women with you, pretty important. This woman right here, this is Emily Howland. Emily Howland, wow, she did some amazing things. She was an activist and interested in education equality. That means that all kids from all races would have equal education. She also was big on women's rights. She was an abolitionist, so that's a person that believed there shouldn't have been slavery. So she taught at the Normal School for Colored Girls. It's now the University of the District of Columbia in Washington, D.C. She did that in the 1850s, right before the Civil War. And throughout the Civil War, she worked at multiple refugee settlements where she taught former slaves, so people that either escaped from slavery. She taught them how to read and write. She also cared for sick during the smallpox outbreak that happened during that time. And following the war, she purchased a plot of land called Arcadia that was in Virginia to help settle families that she had met while she was in those camps, helping those former slaves to be free and also to help them learn to read and write. During the remaining part of her life, she became recognized as a pioneer and leader in the women's suffrage movement. And what women's suffrage is it was their opportunity. They wanted to be created, or they wanted to be treated equally. And so she served as a spokesperson for the 1894 New York State Constitutional Convention, and then went before the U.S. Congress. She was the first of her generation who fought for women's rights, and she was able to cast her vote in 1920, which is amazing because at that time, she was born in 1827, and it was 1920. So you can imagine she was in her 90s, and she was one of the few women who started the suffrage movement for equality for women who did get to vote in 1920. And until her death at the age of 101, she lived to be 101 years old, she served as the director of the First National Bank of Aurora in Aurora, New York. She was the first female director of a national bank in the United States. So this is Emily Howland. She's in the Women's Hall of Fame, and you can imagine why. Another woman that's pretty famous, and probably a lot of people don't know this, they've heard of the Apgar score. A lot of people have that are adults. This is Virginia Apgar. MD behind her name, that means medical doctor. So she helped create the scoring for babies when they're born. And what that is new parents, you anxiously await for your Apgar score for your child when they're born, when they're first born. It's the gold standard for determining the health of a newborn baby. So Virginia Apgar, she devised a score in 1953, creating the first tool to scientifically assess new babies' health risks and the need for potentially life-saving observation. So she graduated from the College of Physicians and Surgeons at Columbia University in 1933, and she first thought she would be a surgeon. But a mentor discouraged her, and so she started studying anesthesiology. That's where you get put to sleep while you have like a surgery. So she went on to study the effects of anesthesia and labor and delivery of newborn babies and their health. And that's where she created her checklist, which now is called the Apgar score after her last name. So before the Apgar score, providers had little guidance for assessing and treating infants in their first hours after they were born, and often losing babies who could have been saved. Later, she worked for the March of Dimes as a vice president for medical affairs. There, she drove public attention to the vital issues of how to prevent birth defects. So, wow, she was really big in helping babies to be able to survive and also helping with birth defects. So that's Virginia Apgar, Dr. Virginia Apgar. Very cool. So we'll put those two women up on our Women's History Month board, and I hope you get a chance to go by and check out all of the awesome people that have contributed to our society and our community. Hey, one birthday to announce actually tomorrow. Happy birthday to Gwen Mitchell. Happy birthday, Gwen. We hope you have an awesome birthday tomorrow. All right, boys and girls, let's soar this Friday. That means safety, ownership, acceptance, and respect. Let's have a wonderful day, and always remember, your Frylands family cares about you. Teachers, please lead your students in the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll see you soon.